Hey YouTube, RicoKnows, going to continue my series of talking about hidden gems on every team in America. Right here, you see I am talking about the Pittsburgh Panthers. If you don't know my method to my madness, I'm going alphabetical by team, by conference. So right now I'm in the ACC and I'm going alphabetical by team, and we're in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh Panthers, I'm looking at their hidden gem and I'm going to talk about them shortly. If you don't know who it is, it's Desmond Reid. He goes by Des, a transfer, and I'll go into it more detail. But looking at Pitt last year, they had a running back, Rodney Hammond Jr. He's back again. And now Rodney Hammond Jr. was taking over for Israel Abanikanda, who had just been drafted in the 5th round by the Jets. So Hammond Jr. has been there for a while. Okay, been there for a while, and he comes out, and it looks like he's not getting it done. And if you look at the entire offense, nobody was getting it done. They really weren't. Terrible quarterback from Canada, and Christian Villieu, yes, he was a Penn State transfer, but he's not any good. Phil Jerkovic is even worse. Moved to tight end, and as a Boston College transfer. And then Nate Yarnell gave them some excitement and some hope for the future, and hopefully Nate Yarnell's the guy. But when I wanted to make this video about talking about hidden gems, I didn't want to talk about the starting quarterback or the starting running back or who's been around for many years and everybody knows, right? Mumfield's going to be one of the star wide receivers. Bub Means just got drafted, and Mumfield's going to get every rep. And we can go down the list. There's a ton of defenders that are back next year. Obviously, Donovan McMillan is back, team's leading tackler. There's a bunch of guys that hit the transfer portal, meaning other players will be in the starting lineup. So who do I talk about when it comes to hidden gems? Well, it all comes down to Cade Bell coming over from Western Carolina. If you don't know, Cade Bell's the new offensive coordinator getting hired. He's supposedly ran the most prolific offense at Western Carolina. I think he's got a shot to come out here and revamp Pitt's offense. So what's he do? He brings a bunch of players with him, because he's an offensive coordinator and he knows that. So they have receivers, all the same guys from last year. Congratulations. Shout out to Bub Means, who got drafted. Offensive line, that's fine. Nate Yarnell, like I said, Rodney Hammond here. And then you got all the defenders. But when we start looking at some of these other receivers, and I was going to do the video on Lee, right? Sincere Lee coming over from Western Carolina. By the way, Raphael Williams, it says he's coming over from San Diego State. He is. But he was at Western Carolina 2 years ago. So these are two guys that really know the offense, but the wide receiver room's deep at Pitt. But it doesn't matter. You're bringing in players who know the offensive coordinator scheme. That's what it is. And they can teach everybody else the standard of what it is. Okay? Eli Holstein coming in the transfer portal. I love him on his high school tape. Did not look good in the spring game, and that's for a number of reasons. But he just didn't look good. It's unfortunate. But Eli Holstein, an Alabama transfer, former Louisiana kid, was competing, as the best quarterback coming out of high school at Walker Howard, who's now at Ole Miss, who transferred from LSU as well. Eli Holstein, I thought he was going to hit the portal and go back to LSU. Instead, he went up to Pitt, which is a great move. Love it. And then there's a running back here, Desmond Reid, junior, transfer. And I go turn on the tape to see Desmond Reid because I didn't know who Desmond Reid was when he hit the transfer portal. Now, that's not because I'm not a college football fan or anything. What it is I spend a lot of time studying 134 teams in America. And I study 134 FBS level teams in America, and I give it every ounce of effort that I have. I spend every waking moment of every day working on that craft, being prepared for the MVPs, giving you guys the right picks during the football season, and I have to know every team in America. There's no way to fake it. It's hard work. And I'm studying every roster. What I don't have time for is to study the FCS rosters. So I don't know all the FCS teams. I am aware of the playoffs. I'm aware of some of the perennial powers. Don't get it twisted. I probably know FCS teams better than any casual fan or anybody out there talking on TV or anything like that. I swear, I just don't know them better than somebody who attends the school or somebody who coaches at the school or a fanatical fan or an alumni. They might know their favorite team a little better than me on the FCS side of the house. Now, on the FBS side of the house, we can go all day. Bar for bar, no one's touching me. So when I look at Western Carolina transfers coming over to Pitt, I see the name Desmond Reid. And full disclosure, I had a DM about a year ago. It might have been 2 years ago now. I had a DM from somebody on TikTok. I got 180,000 plus followers on TikTok. And somebody hit me up on TikTok and was like, hey, Rico, have you looked at Desmond Reid yet? And I just added it to a list. I keep a running database on an Excel spreadsheet of any name people mentioned. Then I can go Control F it, go find it, and just go back to the date, what was mentioned. I keep little notes like that. And I didn't look at the tape. Come on, it's an FCS player. I don't have time for that. I'm studying FBS teams, and I'm in the middle of the season. And he's like, Rico, have you looked at Desmond Reid yet? That guy looks great. I'm like, yo, got it. Hey, thanks for the heads up. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe I'll make a next up video. I have a whole playlist about who's next up. I'm like, yeah, we're good. And then I keep going about my business. But I remember that message, and this was back in 2022. It was 2 years ago. Maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know how math works. But what I remember is he was playing against Georgia Tech. And it wasn't last year, because last year they played Arkansas on the road and they got shut down pretty bad and he didn't do well. But again, in 2022, against Georgia Tech, with an inferior team, showed up with an FCS team, doesn't have the right offensive line, doesn't have all the greatness, but you see it here, 10 carries, 47 yards, and then 4 receptions for 65 yards. There's just a little juice to him. And when he goes up against FCS opponents, he dominates. Okay, there's just a little juice to Desmond Reid. So Des Reid hits the transfer portal, and you guys know the deal. If you're followers of the channel, when someone hits the transfer portal, I'm all in. I'm all in. Once you hit the transfer portal, I go back and watch every interview, every rep, every huddle film, every highlight, every accolade. I got to learn everything about you. And I only have to do that for FCS transfers, because I already know all the FBS transfers, because I do that with every recruiting class. But if you were an FCS player out of high school, I didn't see you in a recruiting class, I didn't go watch your huddle film, unless I did your high school film review, and Desmond Reid never paid for one. Fair? Okay, so I didn't know who he was. I turned on the tape. Desmond Reid, right here, bro. This man is 5'8", 170. I don't believe that. Maybe he is 170. He's yoked. He's kind of muscular. 5'8", my ass, bro. This dude walking around 5'6", bro. This must be with cleats and a helmet on. This must be his dating profile. He's tiny, but he's the baddest little dude around. Getting 7 yards a carry, 800 yards. That's back in 2022. How about last year? Almost 7 yards a carry, 6.8, almost 900 yards. This is a bad man. Let me tell you, you know who he reminds me of? Jacquez Rogers. Jacquez Rogers, the two Rogers brothers out at Oregon State. Got no love coming out of high school. Nobody believed in them. And they got to Oregon State and started dominating, ended up being a 5th-round pick. So when I look at Desmond Reid and I turn on the tape, you're going to see a little joystick. You're going to see another, you know who he reminds me of? Marquez Cooper. He was at Kent State, back-to-back 1,200 yards, and then just transferred to Ball State last year. Now he's at San Diego State. Similar build, similar play style, might have a little bit more speed. This kid, the balance, the strength to run through an arm tackle, I got it. He's really strong. He's been in college for a while, so he's been lifting weights. But he's not that big. But he makes that cut right there in the backfield. You know, they call these cuts, these runners, north-south runners, these one-cut runners. This man is a multi-cut runner. He's going to cut you up and make everybody miss. Des Reid is that 1-2 punch. And Rodney Hammond Jr., who's the starting running back for Pitt, is just a different type of runner. And this little guy just got the juice. He's got it. And it's his acceleration is 10. And you see who he's playing. That's St. Thomas Aquinas. This is 7A football. This is the highest level of football. What do they call it now? 3 Metro? He's playing the highest level of football in Florida, down in Miami. He got that Florida speed. And he's got that stop and go. Stop and go. And he's gone. And it's just the way he makes people miss. You just go, my goodness. Look at this little guy. Top of the screen, quick hitch, high points it. That's the smallest guy on the field. High points it, gone. It's incredible. Everything he does is great. And the recruiting websites had the nerve to make him a 2 or a 3-star guy. It's a kickoff. Why are you kicking it to this man? What do you think is going to happen when you kick it to this man? Yep, gone. This is what Pitt has. Pitt just found themselves a speedster, somebody that's going to be a mismatch nightmare in open space. And shout out to Cade Bell. He knows what to do with this man. Look at this. Stop, go, cut. The play's still alive. It's 2nd and 12. It's gone. He's gone. Just a bad little dude, man. And Pitt got one. So that's my hidden gem for 2024. I'm naming one on every single team. If you want to know, go to the homepage on YouTube, click the playlist, and you will see the hidden gems on every team in America. Look at him. He's already cutting them up from far away. Oh, it's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing, and it's Florida. They're fast. Oh my God, he did 6 cuts on that kid from 5 yards away. Oh my goodness. I'm watching that. That was a masterclass right there. We go back. Look at this. You got me, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a cone drill. It's a cone drill. Shout out to Des Reed. Do your thing, man. I'm pulling for you all season. Shout out to Pitt. I hope you play great. I'm going to be watching. This is my hidden gem for 2024. Until the next video, remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.